Okay, we're off to exercise 2. This type of food can be eaten as a starter or as a main course. Can be eaten would be the right answer. Sorry. A parcel will be delivered to your door before 11 o'clock tomorrow. Will be delivered. Murder on the Orient Express was written by Agatha Christie. This shop, so we have probably since the beginning of the year. That probably means, that most certainly means that we need to use present perfect, especially that we have at least 3 times. So we're answering the question how many times, just like in exercise 1 when we had my student they have recorded 2 songs. So that exercise also asked the question how many times something has happened. So here we'll have present perfect, and we'll have the shop has been robbed at least 3 times since the beginning of the year. A new road outside, already built outside. Okay, we have already. Already is a strong indication that we could use present perfect. So a new road has already been built outside the village. That's what I would go with. Patients must warn not to go out alone. Patients must be warned not to go out alone after 8 o'clock. I'm living at my aunt's because my room it is being painted this week. This week is indicating that this is a temporary action, and since it's a temporary action, we want to use present continuous. Pop groups are created by businessmen. Just a general rule. So present simple is in the passive form. It's a perfect choice here. At the moment, of course, this is present continuous. No questions asked. What events are being described at the moment? What is this program? It is called Baywatch. It is called Baywatch. Fantastic. So that was a short one, and we have another short one here. So let's do it. Also, complete the sentences with mustn't, didn't have to, don't have to, had to, shouldn't. Okay. Just remember, there's a difference between didn't have to and needn't have. So in case you, I don't know if we need to use needn't have done something or didn't need to do something, but didn't need to means that somebody didn't have to and didn't do it. Needn't have, that means somebody did something that he didn't have to do. So remember about that, but you probably know this by now because we've been repeating this structure a lot. We must catch a taxi. I'll drive. You mustn't. I would say you mustn't smoke during meals. I think I would go with the mustn't because that's something that's really irritating. Or you know what? No, I think that mustn't is too strong because I think you could say mustn't, but I think in this case it's a bit strong. I think since it's annoying, you could use shouldn't smoke during meals, and that would fit just perfectly. Because this seems like a conversation between between 2 people, and not necessarily that are kind of equal. Not necessarily between a kind of like a teacher and a student, or like a father and a son. Somebody saying it's annoying. I think that this is like a kind of conversation between equals. So I would go with you shouldn't smoke during meals. I think that wouldn't be enough. But if you say you mustn't smoke during meals, that would also probably be okay. That would indicate kind of a relationship between kind of like a person who's superior to the other person and is giving him or her a strong kind of order not to do something. Okay, so I would say mustn't is also okay, but you shouldn't smoke during meals is enough, I think, and would be good here. Excuse me for a moment, I make a phone call. I won't be long. I must make a phone call. Or I have to make a phone call. That would also be okay. The difference between have to and must is have to is when somebody is telling you to do something, and must is when you have a strong kind of feeling that you need to do something. So in this case, I would go with must because that comes from within, like from within that person. Somebody has an urge to make a phone call for some reason. So I would say I must make a phone call. I won't be long. But if somebody else told that person to make that phone call, she or he would say I have to make a phone call. However, if you look at Murphy's grammar book, there is an explanation of the difference between have to and must, and he says that very often you can use must and have to interchangeably, regardless of the fact that must is used for an internal kind of compulsion to do something, and have to is used for like an external order or external kind of order would be a good word. Somebody's ordering somebody to do something. So yeah, keep that in mind. However, the general rule of thumb is that when your urge comes from within, you want use must, and if somebody's telling you to do something, you use have to or has to. I don't want so that being said, I would say I must make a phone call. I don't want anyone to know about my plan. Okay. I think you mustn't tell anyone is strong enough and and fits here nicely, because this is I don't want anyone to know. So somebody's really really emphasizing the fact that he or she doesn't want anybody to know. So you mustn't tell anyone. Okay, like keep my secret. You mustn't tell anyone, and that would be a good choice here. There are only 2 people in front of me in the queue, so there were only 2 people in front. Okay, so I didn't have to wait long. That's enough. I didn't have to wait. Okay, we'll wrap it up, and we'll continue from the 4th exercise on in the next video.